15.
Is there anyone that doesn't get along with Stefan Edberg? I don't think so. One of the all-time nice guys on the tour. I'd like to see Struff do that more often. That big strapping youngster from Germany. It's a good job you got the quick hold.
1 game all, first set.
God, he's aging so terribly. First saw him play my brother in the juniors, the Open. Had to be a long time ago.
Yeah.
$15.
First job for anybody at these championships has not been about winning matches or even winning sets, both of which have clearly proved impossible so far. It's been about getting close to the service of Federer.
Watched in the opposite end when he won, I think it was 35 straight.
It was 35, yeah.
in a row.
Yeah, that was on Wednesday against Lucas Lachko. Ridiculous numbers.
Oh!
Hasn't had a break point against him so far.
$13-15.
He's come out of the blocks looking almost human, you know, as opposed to the first 2 rounds where he's very sharp.
Serene, straightforward, straight sets passage
14-15.
so far. Serbian Dusan Lajovic beaten on Monday, but then the Slovakian Lachko beaten on Wednesday. 48 winners in that match, along with an imperious service game.
Game Federer.
On serve here early on. Federer 2-1.
Federer leads 2-1, first set.
Mum and Dad are in there, and his wife Merke in the middle of the 2 of them. There they are, Lynette and Robert. Met Merke on the tennis circuit, and he always says that she taught her husband the virtue of hard work. He saw how hard she would practice 5-6 hours a day, and that was one of the first lessons that he took on board.
Yes, Mrs. Go with that. Agree with that totally. I actually, you know, she was in the 3rd round of the U.S. Open one year, reached the top 100 in the world. Met apparently at Sydney Olympics. And it's been so
quickly, please.
So helpful for Roger that he's found someone that gets it, knows what it takes for someone to be able to do their thing. With 4 kids at 36, what he's doing, it is a group effort, but this guy's a phenomenon.
So Struff, first set, 1-2.
I assume that slice is a shot he will utilize quite often as this match moves forward. Get that ball low. Uncomfortable for Struff to handle that at 6-5. Classic Federer. That short slice basically forcing guys in that don't really come to net a whole lot. He utilized that early in his career against Roddick quite often, confounding him.
30-15.
He's taken the longest possible route to get this far, Jan-Lennard Struff. 2 5-setters, and he actually came from 2 sets down in each of them against Leonardo Mayer in the first round, Ivo Karlovic a couple of days ago. Couldn't have worked harder to earn this opportunity on centre court against Roger.
Those are a couple tough customers, so Struff making some nice progress in his career.
15. Game.
I believe he's 28 now.
2 games all, first set.
Well, he settled in nicely. Federer is the one that doesn't look like he's found that backhand yet. Hasn't been able to step into any much success. Don't expect that to go on much longer.
Low 15.
Some frustration will set in even for Federer if he doesn't find the range soon.
Jan-Lennard Struff's coach is Carsten Ariens, former German player. Never quite broke the top 100. He's looking after Struff these days.
Let for service.
Let for service. $30-15.
37 next month. He's the world number 2 behind Rafa, but he is the top seed here for the first time in 8 years.
So tough to get him back away from that baseline. He just hovers around looking to make an immediate impact.
Federer again, and he leads 3-2.
Federer leads 3-2 first set.
So what of Jan-Lennard Struff? It's the third time they've met in recent times, John. Federer has won both of them, perhaps not surprising, without dropping a set on grass in Halle a couple of years ago. Then the Australian Open, actually very recently, right at the start of the year. It was 7-6 in the third. But he's been facing that conundrum that almost every other player faces at some point. How on earth do you beat Roger? And his coach has been part of that process as well.
Well, having watched him for the better part of the past 5 years or so, I've been impressed by his improvement, his maturity, his professionalism. And I think he's become a much more respected player in the locker room. Even though the ranking's a little bit lower than his career high of a year or so ago, I think he's a better player than he's ever been. I think he proved that and showed that coming back from 2 sets to love down the first 2 rounds against guys, you know, Karlovic thinking I may never play here again. He's 39, but the big Serb, Leonardo Mayer, is tough. Very professional player himself. So this is, I'm happy to see guys that are able to reach their potential. He's pretty darn close right now. You got to figure out ways, if you're this big, to impose yourself more against a smaller opponent. Make him feel that you can do things they can't.
And And it isn't unusual with players like Struff, who've got the big
15.
shots, who have the powerful game, John, but are constantly searching for that consistency that will take them into the top 50 and take them beyond that point.
Well, that's what they're all looking for in their own minds, to know that that's there for them.
Mr. Federer.
The ball was close, will be challenged, may have caught.
The ball was called in.
Some of these guys are endangered. They don't feel their first step is good enough, so they hesitate. So they rely on their power, and that allows these masters like Federer to get in more points. And they just have to commit to it, moving forward. That's a pretty imposing target. I think Kevin Anderson, for example, would be someone he should model himself. He's not going to serve volley, but he's become more aggressive, look to move forward. And he's a very dangerous opponent. Monfils Anderson coming up on Monday. Some return.
Can the return be poetic? But you know, if it can, that was one.
30 all.
It's like a highlight reel watching him.
You can watch him these days without the pressure of being his coach.
Once again, one thing we don't talk as much about is how good Federer's defense is, as he explored ways to get in this guy's head early.
30-14.
Again, he had a couple opportunities. The guy played a really good point, but he had a couple opportunities to take it to Federer, chose to wait it out, and that cost him early break point chance.
Unless, of course, you are the opponent on the other side of the net. Federer with the break.
Federer needs 4 games to 2 per set.
Yeah, I mean, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Here he is. He takes a ball. He wasn't really in position to cover the line or cross court. He said it never looked like he got himself in a ready position to explode. You've got to be able to do that at net. This is where the fatigue sets in, mentally and physically.
15 love.
And he ain't coming from 2 sets to love down a third time in a row.
No, only 2 players in Grand Slam history have ever done that. Tommy Robredo 5 years ago, and Henri Cochet in 1927. That would be the scale of the task.
I remember Robredo's was at the French. Was that also where Cochet's was?
No,
the Frenchman?
No. Cochet was here, interestingly.
T15.
Just long. Well, it's a mountain of pressure that young Leonard Struff's having to deal with at the moment. Federer very rapidly, 5-2.
Federer leads 5 games to 2 first set.
Benefiting John, I guess, from the rest that he allowed himself while most others were toiling away on the dirt during the clay court season. He opted out of Roland Garros again to cool his engines, increasingly listening to his body, giving it a rest when he feels that he needs to.
Also allows him to, as you said, recharge, spend more time with the family. He had a very busy first few months of the year. He's out there on the court toiling away, battling, winning the Australian again. So in reality, he missed maybe 2, maximum 3 events. I mean, you're talking about the French, maybe 1, possibly 2 tune-ups. That would even be pushing it. So not as crazy as it seems. And because it worked so well last year, you would have been hard-pressed to think he would have done anything differently again, despite the hopes of a lot of French people. Congratulations to them. The French are advanced to the semis. World Cup.
A little over 20 minutes. Jan-Lennard Struff already serving to stay in the set.
$15 love. $30 love. Let for service. $30-15.
It's good for him to try that, particularly in a winning position. Hopefully down the road there'll be a more important occasion where he will continue to move forward. Better scoreboard pressure as he did again there. This match is obviously not very physical yet. And the speed is been on the court 22 minutes, but nerves make you tired, stress. Probably somewhat whip fatigued already, having played 2 5-setters.
Federer leads 5 games to 3.
Gotta feel that spring in their legs.
Yeah, 7.5 hours on court negotiating those first 2 rounds. Federer about 4.5 hours less, just a smidge under 3 hours for Federer to get this far. So significantly more miles on the German clock. Federer for the first set.
He's not as particularly fast-twitched as Federer anyway, so you've got a situation where, if anything, Struff should slow him down the way how quickly he plays.
$30 love. $40 love.
Average length of his service games on Wednesday were 90 seconds. Taking care of business very quickly. 3 set points.
Game first set, Federer.
That was a very short business meeting. 24 minutes for the first set. Federer 6-3.
Absolutely awesome time to play right here, but a little past 6. I don't know how much we can take from this. It would be clear to me that if Struff was going to make any type of impact, he's got to do a much better job with that first serve, winning a lot more easy points, so he can try different things. You know, he looks like he's out there. You know, and he's proven he's going to compete, having come back from way down the first two. But you got to think or hope that him and his coach have gotten together and gone through all types of scenarios. I mean, and lay it out what you should try to do if Roger does this, and he's going to give you a lot of different looks. And you got to do some homework when you play him to try to get yourself believing you have a chance. It's a tall order right now. He's looking spectacular. There's no question.
Time.
You got to somehow impose your will and your belief, because he's going to feel whether you think you can do it. Federer, he's going to feed off that. Got to at least try to get him edgy.
Love. Mr. Federer is challenging the call on the right baseline.
I don't think they should allow even Roger Federer. And all the players do it, but they literally ask their box if they think it's in before they do it. I mean, come on. It's
50 love.
Make the player, once they look, it's over.
Led for service.
I bet you Roger 95% felt when he hit that ball it was out. You practice a whole lot from that position.
No, you'd need to be playing Roger a lot to practice that.
15-all. Mr. Federer has 2 challenges remaining.
And this guy is so quick to move forward and take advantage of it when you're on the, you're in your heels, backpedaling.
The fluency of it all.
15-50.
I feel like you're suffocating when you're playing him. You just don't have any time to think. It feels like it's all happening so fast out here, and it looks like it's slow motion for him. He's got all day to decide. You see, there's the slightest bit of indecisiveness from Roger, because he saw him moving forward at the last second, serving in vine. He's got to do some of that. That's another important thing for a guy 6'5". I mean, he's going to find, it's easier to find that angle.
Game sport. First game, second set.
The importance of offering Federer pictures that move around. If he's offered similar targets, if he knows exactly what Struff's going to do point on point, then this really will not last long. But imagine that Jan-Lennard Struff is, we talked about this a couple of days ago, getting out of your comfort zone. You're not entirely sure that's the best approach.
I think a little bit, but I don't think it would be uncomfortable for him, certainly, to mix up his serves. That should be a given. Moving forward, especially when you want to keep some points shorter, if you're a little tired, that's... I just find it sort of almost humorous that you would say, these days, the guy's hitting a serve 130 plus miles per hour, and you have to encourage him or get him out of his comfort zone to move forward. Like, what? happened to this sport?
Yeah, Struff's fastest serve so far, 133. Federer, 111. Very often the second shot is something like that.
I thought that was going wide. I think Struff did too. It seemed like it was mishit, but it's like a topspin swinging volley. It's just he knew it all the time where it was going to go.
Was good. Mr. Struff is challenging the call on the left service line. The ball was called in. Second serve.
Why does an umpire in the chair overrule a call like that?
30-15.
One of the things that the younger players or the guys that aren't at the top of the game, I think, don't focus enough attention on his return.
As an aggressive shot, or just one to get yourself into the conversation?
Well, both. I don't. It means to me the weakest part of their games.
Game Federer. One game all, second set.
And the serve one followed close second by the return. So your amount of time spent on court where you're working on shots, it should certainly be. Main focus should be on those two first.
Let for service.
So FEDERER probing there, using that slice effectively. That's a good job, good touch by the big man. How depressing is it when you hit a serve 130 miles an hour? You literally finish your motion, you look down, the ball's literally right at your feet. Look at this. I mean, it's bum me out in a hurry.
Yeah. Precious little time to make that transition.
There's a guy that doesn't believe in his net play enough, so he goes too big on the approach. It misses it.
Exactly what he has to try and do more of.
40-30. Game STRUFF.
He's got a bag full of questions to answer, young Leonard Struff. But on serve in the second set.
1-2. First set, Federer.
just the perfect day, particularly if you have tickets for centre to watch this man. But you don't have to have tickets on centre to be enjoying the most wonderful of days. There's the hill, and they have a screen which is twice as big this year. You've probably heard it, but Wimbledon has bought a big screen TV to bolt onto the back of #1 court, twice the size of last year's. Set fair for this weather to stay pretty much as it is heading into next week as well.
Loving the fact of getting to watch this great man play tennis. Struff showed some excellent work there to get that hole. Seems to be playing his best now.
Well played.
Struff standing in closer there. That kick's not going to work to me against a guy 6'5". He can rip it cross court as he did. That's good job. These top guys, they want to open the court up for themselves, make it easier. So they're tempted to go out wide. Those big guys have to cover that, smother that shot. Make them pay if they do that. Force them to hit serves where they want it to be hit. Easier said than done.
14-15. Game FEDERER.
Once again, a double quick time behind the serve. He's not hanging around, Roger.
2 games all, second set.
That wears on you mentally too. If you're playing him, it just feels like you're sort of feeling good about yourself. And you've gotten through the hold. You sat down. You get up. You're like, all right, I'm going to do something here. And then it feels like a minute later, you're back already serving. He just keeps the pressure on you. You never feel like relax against him. That's a good shot.
Work
a lot on your flexibility at that height. Make sure you can take that low ball. Not easy for the big man to stop that the full weight and go back the other way. So FEDERER burn him there.
15-all.
It's interesting to look at the aggression on the return of serve there from FEDERER on the forehand. We might get a better view of what you're talking about in terms of the blocked return of serve on the backhand, if that's where STRUFF goes here. Have a look at the technique of FEDERER just to get the ball back in play.
And he does a lot of smart things. He goes with the spin. He goes with where the ball's placed. He takes what's given to him.
Let's go. That's interesting because players always say, John, that you can't fight against the surface like this.
13-15.
And you can't fight against the ball that you're being offered at any particular point.
But obviously the bigger servers and a first serve is more difficult to be able to do that. But especially there, when you're given so little time, you've got to not go for something that's unrealistic.
Give it roll. Yes,
40-15.
Usually the serve you try at 40 love. Go the second serve ace, try to hit it at 131, although Nick Kyrgios often goes for huge second serves. Toss the double in there.
Remain on serve in this second set. Struff 3-2.
Leads 3 games to 2, second set. First set, Federer.
Continuing the defence of his title that he won on this court last summer. A 9th a week on Sunday would equal, of course, Martina Navratilova's Wimbledon singles record. Whether Jan-Lennard Struff can knock him off course here.
He's had a lot to live up to when he's growing up. They had Boris Becker, well, that is, into the late 90s, at 2000-ish. Michael Steek, who I want to congratulate, is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame in a couple weeks. So kudos to him. And so the Germans have been desperate, trying to find that guy that can step up. Zverev is, a guy who, Russian parents, his brother was born there.
Yeah, saw him this morning. Looked much better.
He did look much better, and I anticipate he will win multiple Grand Slams. So things seem to be in the upswing, and that helps guys like Struff. There's the president of the Hall of Fame now, Todd Martin.
Yeah. He could serve a bit.
Big man at 6'6", only an inch bigger than Struff. They're getting taller and taller. Anderson, a couple inches bigger than Todd Martin at 6'8". Isner's out there obliterating Albot, 2 sets to love. He's 6'10".
Federer, 2-3, second set.
15 love.
By the way, the winner of this match, Soon and Roger, but they're out battling Medvedev. Manarino are in the 5th set. And 2 days off for all these players that reached the 3rd round on Friday.
30 love.
I'd hate to get handcuffed on a second serve when you've got an opportunity to really take a good swing at it. There's the answer to why guys don't serve and volley as much. Because the balls hit so much harder on the return than it used to. From wood rackets to graphite, the strings. Players don't feel as confident because they hit a serve 115-20.
40-15.
And they haven't gotten to the service line yet. Someone tell me how does that and makes it look so easy. Trust me, it isn't.
3 games all, second set.
And this is, you hope and pray you can hit a return that good. And then all of a sudden, he actually meant to hit it short.
Thank you.
How hard is he gripping the racket there, John?
I think he's not gripping it hard at all until just before he hits it, and then you tighten up. But this is part of what makes him one of the many things. He's so relaxed. He doesn't burn energy the way a lot of other players do.
There is coaches Ivan Ljubicic, Severin Luti. In a little slither of sunshine in fluorescent white.
Have you ever once seen Federer where he looked like physically completely tired? I mean, I can't recall a match where he's absolutely just fried.
And actually, when you watch him practice, certainly at the slams, that's how he practices as well. You can only assume that away from the public gaze, he is working his socks off.
Struff playing a much better, more competitive second set. Just at least giving Federer something to think about here.
Yeah, Struff had been a regular first-round loser at Grand Slams in recent years, but not this year. He reached the second round in Australia, second round at Roland Garros, the French Open, and now here he is in the third round at Wimbledon.
Years with that 90 square inch frame. Eventually now it's up to 98, I believe, and it's just freed him up on that backhand. It is by far the best he's hit it the last couple of years since he came back from the injury in particular. So much confidence on that side. Doesn't get exposed up high as often. Feels he can come over it more effectively and attack that. Didn't miss by a whole lot. He's got a lot of confidence, Struff. He's really going after the ball now, making things happen. Good work by him.
There's a little smile on the face of his coach. He's starting to enjoy this. It's the time in the set where Federer starts to go to work, starts to think really seriously about a break of serve, and he's putting some pressure on the German here. Carsten Arians watching on.
He'll challenge that for sure. He guessed right. He had a wide open court.
The ball was called out.
Federer hung near the baseline of the deuce court. It looked like he caught some line. We'll see.
Replay the point.
Unlucky for Struff there. Still in the mix. 3-all deuce.
Replaying the point.
Federer.
It's almost as if Federer is feeding on the pressure that he knows Struff will be feeling at this stage. That scoreboard pressure that comes with being taken this far in your service game.
It comes with having 20 Grand Slams.
That helps. That
takes
helps.
a little pressure. Well, yeah. I've won this a couple times.
Break point.
See the body serve used much. Certainly a very effective tool for a guy like Struff to use. What I like is that when the pressure's risen, he started to become more aggressive and move forward on the serve. It's paid off in this set.
Advantage, Struff. Deuce.
It's good to see him trying that.
Yeah, sizing things up, trying to wait as long as possible to force Federer to make a move. He didn't really give him or let on where he was going. He tried to cut it a little too close there.
Advantage, Struff.
By some distance, this is the longest game of the match so far. Struff with game point.
Oh, well done. Beautifully played, big-hearted, and he holds on. He's come through the pressure.
Struff, 4-3.
Struff leads 4 games to 3, second set. First set.
Every possibility that he might have lost that service game, and I think we all sense that Federer was pressing particularly hard on it. How well the German responded. He used to play a bit Castanarian, so he'd have enjoyed that. Agonisingly close to breaking into the world's top 100 in the 90s. Never quite made it.
Time.
Federer with new balls in the second set, 3-4.
Good news about the heat is that Struff probably helped loosen him up. That stiffness that piled up after those first 2 5-setters. Yeah, I think he's freed up now, Struff. You know, he's gotten through the lethargy, the nerves. He seems to have a little bit more spring, a little more life to him, and he's playing quite well here in this second. Nothing that can be done there.
30-15.
Out!
30-all.
This is first of the match. Hasn't had a break point against him in the championship so far.
Real good look at that.
40-30.
Probably even better than he thought he was going to get. Wild attempt at a pass.
Game, Federer. Four games all, second set.
Well, that is some picture. Increasingly, folk, if they have tickets for Wimbledon, saying we're going to come and see Roger today rather than saying we're going to Wimbledon.
tell you how many people come up to me and say, God, I sure hope Roger wins this one more time. I'm like, what about all the other guys that never won? He's won, what, 8? My goodness. Gotta love that. Pardon me, your followers. I don't think there's a place in the world where he's not a crowd favorite,
no,
or the favorite, almost when they're even when they're playing guys in that country.
Yeah,
that's when you know you got it made. That when you sign a 10-year deal with a new clothing company at 36.
not quite from Struff. The ball was out. Federer adding to the entertainment as a bonus.
30-15.
Unlucky that clipped the net. Actually did a good job almost making that. He's been able to go toe-to-toe so far in this set. Hitting the ball much cleaner now. I feel his confidence growing.
Game full.
Yeah, he feels like he belongs on centre court against Roger Federer right now. And he leads 5-4.
5 games to 4, second set. First set, Federer.
Little sign of strength from Jan-Lennard Struff. Yeah, Federer with new tailors. You'll have noticed, you'll have heard people talk about. Not entirely sure how much he's being paid for it, but conservatively it's £100 million over 10 years. So even when he stops playing,
I heard 300 million over 10.
Yeah, there's some debate.
Either way,
yeah, both you would probably accept. I suspect without too much negation. It pretty much, well, he's set up for life anyway, isn't he? But it pretty much guarantees that, even beyond the point that he's playing tennis.
Or they're going to try to utilize him the same way Nike utilized Michael Jordan in basketball. He still has his own brand and sells better than any of their other brands. And Roger's an icon. We'll see what happens with the RF. And we'll see what happens this set, because Struff is actually really playing really well.
In his new white suit, Roger Federer serving to stay in this second set, 4-5.
Oh!
Ball just kissing the strings.
15 love.
Still trying to figure out how at 36 he moves his or better than any point in the 30s to me, at the very least.
Maybe one of the keys to that is that he's still intrigued by the sport. He's still intrigued to see how much more he can get out of his body, what more he can get from tennis.
More probably he's a freak of nature.
Yeah, just that as well. Yeah.
The joy, he loves it.
Yeah.
And more than any player I've ever seen. Well, I suppose it helps when you win as much as he has, but nonetheless appears to love every minute, both on and off the court. How many quick games? It's incredible. How quickly he wins these services.
5 games all, second set.
Yes, he said a couple of days ago that as he's trying to get more and more out of his body, the key is that he's never fallen out of love with this sport.
Law 15. Mr. Struff
Being
is
checked.
challenging the call on the right service line. The ball was called fault. Law 15.
Not going to come to his
Mr.
rescue on this
Struff has
occasion.
2 challenges remaining. Let for service.
More of an impact off the ground.
15-all.
Attacking both sides, backhand and forehand. Needs to be rewarded for it.
$30-50.
Crazy good defensive backhand.
30-all.
But when you're playing Federer, you got to expect a ball like that to come back. I mean, most guys wouldn't even get the ball back. And when you're at 5-all, Wimbledon, center court, be ready for anything. Dictating a surprising amount of the points in this set.
14.
Excellent job again. He's listening to me.
Oh, Karsten's enjoying this. Can this go on forever?
But you've just got to admire what he's up to, and even on a losing point, he earns the applause of his coach and centre court.
Deuce.
Even Roger's breathing hard. So take a little deeper, Hedberg amazed. We've seen it hundreds of times. Still flabbergasted by his efficiency. This guy's got to be a little winded after that point. Hence the error in the break point. Type of points paid dividends later in the game.
Advantage Federer.
As if he had planned.
He's just been beaten by a magician, and Struff throws his racket on the ground as if to say, what on earth can I do? Adorable. Federer 6-5 with a break.
That return was painfully slow for Struff. who leaned to his left, thought he saw and read that slice was going to go cross court, only to watch it go ever so tantalizing by him for the break. This is the shot this is the point that got him.
Yeah, this is the rally. This is the long rally.
I mean, he hit about 7 great shots, and he still lost the point. Federer probing away, trying to get the edge. This guy's doing absolutely everything he can to hang in there. He had to expect the drop shot. Didn't come. He hit it right back to the middle of the court. Didn't give him an angle to work with. He was looked up, and then he just blocks it away beautifully. So efficient at net now. That is extremely discouraging for Struff.
15 love. Kilo.
Typical Federer service game again. Makes that half volley. Just gets it right inside the baseline. I mean, too good. 3 set points. Goodbye. 1 hour and 7 minutes.
Struff's hit it with some decent punches, but look at him, you would not know it. Roger Federer unbruised, and now leading by 2 sets to love.
So his opponent threw the best he had to offer at him. Played extremely well. Tried to be more aggressive, in most cases successfully so. He had one opportunity, I think. It was maybe a 30-all game. He had a pretty good look at that pass. Missed it wildly, that backhand, and that's all she wrote. That eventually, where you feel like you're the guy serving all the time and sort of running uphill. He already was as he walked on the court because he's playing Roger Federer. Then he's played 2 5-setters. It would be hard to imagine that he could do something big from this particular stage, this score line.
Well, as we've been saying, if he does, John, it's history. And we'll remember the next couple of hours for the rest of our lives, but odds will be slim.
So Wilfried Tsonga, he's not playing here. He's had a lot of injury woes. Here, I believe, is the only guy. He came from 2 sets down to beat Federer. Different circumstances, different time. It's like a different era. It seems like.
Struff to serve. Oh. 15 love.
Saying a little earlier that a not insignificant line of history awaits if he can come back from 2 sets down here for the 3rd time in the opening 3 rounds of a Grand Slam. Tommy Rob Roeder did it 5 years ago.
40 love.
That was at Roland Garros, and you have to go back to 1927. And the legend that is Henri Cochet, the Frenchman, actually here.
$48.15.
Skinny odds, but we like to build these things up.
Manarino with a good work from a set breakdown in the 5th to come back. He's awaiting the winner now. Congrats to him, 2 Frenchmen in the 4th round.
Game 4. First game, 3rd set.
Despite the fact that he's tired, overmatched, and discouraged, he's still going for it. Weather-wise, a definite factor.
Do you remember anything like this so regularly, day after day? Being promised as well that it will push into next week as well.
No. 15 love.
It's going to suit the big servers. It's going to suit Nadal. You know, ball's going to jump up higher.
No. 30 love.
Ivan Ljubicic, far right.
It's another one of those games where you just can't take a deep breath.
Love. T15.
Sure? Hear Roger say, "You sure?" Best to be quiet.
Game FEDERER.
Pushed a little bit harder in these service games by Struff today than he has been previously.
1 game all, 3rd set.
The average time for a game on Wednesday was 90 seconds. Today it's 96 seconds.
Oh, the stress,
having to work that much harder.
Is incredible. 6 more seconds. By 2025, that may affect it. He didn't react quickly enough to that short ball, Struff, so his options became more limited. Federer just jumped on it immediately.
Low 15.
So he didn't react well enough. I'd like to see him take that two-hander and really go after it.
Low 30.
Again, the point off that block return, John, and the key for those who'd like to play a shot like that, as Federer does, is what on the backhand to take the sting out of the serve.
Well, he's just using his opponent's pace. You know, he's barely taking any backswing, and he's just meeting it. In essence, to me, when you see him do that, I would, if I was one of these big hitters, I'd move forward. You know, try to take it in the air if I could. Look for that. Oh, he's in trouble there. It's very difficult to do, to try to not hit this approach out as hard
15,
as
40.
you want to, because you don't get yourself in the position you need to be in. But, you know, this is a great passing shot.
Straight down the middle at 134 miles an hour.
30-40.
I would try to slow down if I was Struff. He's playing at Federer's pace. But I suppose he can pop 2 aces. Good idea.
Deuce. Advantage, Struff. Deuce.
So tough for a big guy to handle that low passing shot.
Advantage, FEDERER.
No.
Done by the bounce.
FEDERER leads 2-1. That's it.
By the greatness of FEDERER. Break points tend to be terminal against that man. A little shake of the head, but he leads 2-1.
Well, you see it hit the line, and boy, did that slow it down. Should I volley? No, I'm going to let it drop so I can take a nice big swing at it, and it just, it's the worst possible scenario.
Just the conundrum of winning matches that Federer's opponents have to wrestle with at the moment. Winning a set would be a start. Champion currently on a hot streak of 28 now Wimbledon sets in a row. He's not lost one since the 2016 semi-final against Milos Raonic, match that he did lose. The record here is 34, so if he carries on in this fashion, he will surpass it in the quarterfinals.
That was him, though, right?
Yeah.
He's beat his own record.
But at the moment, no one's even getting close, John. No one's even getting break points.
I mean, the guys that he's played, okay, the returns aren't that great, but you gotta admire how solid he is, how on the money, how well he spots his serve. Gotta slow him down sometimes.
The break, third set, Federer 2-1.
Love. Love.
Trying to remember the last time watching Federer that he didn't have that spring in his legs, that life to him, that jump, that you know it gets in his opponent's head. He's been back for the better part of 18 months. I'm sure I can think of a single match where he looked like, the legs didn't have it. Del Potro at the Open last year.
14-15. Game FEDERER. New ball 3.
And he moves ahead 3-1.
FEDERER leads 3-1, third set.
So not only is Struff tired, he's discouraged now. It would be pretty hard not to be. He's not been able to enjoy a whole lot of this match.
which is a shame because, as we've been saying all along, he's not played particularly badly.
I think the second set he played really well.
Yeah. So Severin Luti in the middle. I'm sure you will recognise Ivan Ljubicic. They have the job at the moment of trying to polish near perfection. I'm not quite sure how you do that. It's the kind of conundrum.
Pat him on the back.
Yeah. Carlos Moyes talked about that.
It's the easiest job in the world.
Oh,
wait.
Oh no!
Wait a second. Yeah.
Oh,
Don't rub it in.
he took that on the service line.
Not the saber. Please don't do that to these poor guys.
Low 15.
Look at this. It's a return of serve, by the way. This is where you immediately go for him. Try to hit him and say, please don't do that again and embarrass me further.
15 all.
Well, there is a long list of the extraordinary underneath his name, but that little moment there might be added to it. What on earth can Struff do?
First set, it wasn't really happening for him. He wasn't timing it right, but boy, is he now. My goodness. Just handed to him.
15-14.
Well, it's not surprising that Federer has wormed his way eventually into the mind of Jan-Lennard Struff.
Highlight showed on the start to 8:30. We got plenty of time.
13-14. Deuce. Advantage Federer. Deuce. Advantage Federer.
Such a great serve. 133 miles an hour.
He pounded on some big serves the last service game, got himself out of trouble in a dumb serve. Any prayer of getting into this, he's got to win this game. Ball's long.
Advantage Federer.
Just checked with the umpire, the Spaniard, Jaime Campostol, who confirmed it was just long. Federer again. Opportunity for a double break of serve in this third set.
That belief that we saw for half that second set is gone now. All he can do is just try to bomb some aces, which he's done a pretty good job of.
Deuce.
in this set, despite being down a break.
Advantage, STRUFF.
Hats off to the German. He is clinging on.
Federer leads 3 games to 2.
Federer 3-2.
Third set and by 2 sets to love.
Interesting to hear Federer a couple of days ago saying he's always thinking about ways that he can make his matches more entertaining. He's thinking about keeping the public entertained. About this as a way of making it more entertaining.
You don't want to make it too insulting for your opponent. You gotta.
How would you have reacted if somebody had done that to you? Not that anyone ever would.
No. What I would have done is I would have tried to hit a very low passing shot to force that volley up, and I would have swung as hard as I possibly can right at their head. And said, please don't ever do that again. It's tough enough out there that you don't want to be caught with your pants down as you're getting outplayed. You're like, come on, give me a break. But you know, he's everyone, including the players in the locker room, like Roger. So it's hard to get mad at him. He's such a class act.
Back inside centre. And here's Roger Federer with a break of serve, 3-2.
Love 15.
All of a sudden, Struff, multiple break points to go double break down. He finally has a shot at leveling this and getting to a Federer serve. Possibly, dare we say, break point.
Thirty all. Game 30. Game Federer.
And still, he hasn't had a break point against his serve.
Federer leads 4 games to 2, third set.
Cannot possibly hit a better approach shot than Roger Federer just hit there. Barely got above, even close to his knees in height. So tough for him to handle.
Love 30.
Do we have a World Cup update?
Well, we know that Brazil are playing, but such is the lure of Roger that they're watching him.
1-0, Belgium.
Let's not spoil their night by telling them.
It's early. This match was over at the end of the second set.
Yeah.
It's just a question of what the score is going to be. Just keep going for first serve. Hope they go in. 28 second serve.
Game Federer.
Went to the riverbank once too often, and Federer with a double break, 5-2 again.
And by 2 sets to love.
I think you saw this if you watched the French Open and all. You saw the upstart, future, I believe Hall of Famer Alexander Zverev, when he came from behind 3 matches in a row, 2 sets to 1 down. Well, guess what? Your body can only take so much.
Yeah. Nothing left in that quarterfinal against Team.
And you're seeing something similar. You're playing in, greatest player that ever lived. Some would argue the second. If you're a Laver, I idolize Laver. I put him in the mix. But any way you look at it.
What would you say now, actually, interesting? If you had to save your life now, who would you?
Well, it depends what surface. But okay. I would say I would take Nadal on clay. I would take Federer on grass. And on a hard court, in his prime, Novak may have been, the best. But if quicker court, I would go with Roger. Slower, Rafa. But both of them can mix it up. When they had to go to their least comfortable ones, as Roger proved, 5 times in the finals of the French. Crowd got to love what they see with this guy. Another win.
15 love.
Manarino just played a 5-setter. Well, at least he's got 2 days off. Plays a different style. At least it'll be a little maybe awkward for a while. John Isner, first time ever, second week. He's done it.
Getting excited.
I mean, if a guy that serves that big, he should finally made it.
Here we go. Tonight's show is very nearly over.
14 love.
3 match points for a place in the second week of this year's Wimbledon.
Game 7 match Federer.
And Roger the Great continues his search for even more greatness.
5, 6-2.
Has he broken sweat?
If he hasn't broken a sweat, that would really be disgraceful. Still warm out there, but looks like he hasn't.
Once again, another masterclass, and one to keep forever, one to remember forever. 98 titles all told now, including the 8 here so far. it would be a 99th a week on Sunday. It would have been 100, actually, if Borna Coric hadn't upset the apple cart in Halle on the way here, but he'll take a 99th.
I'll try to sleep tonight.
Yeah, he'll take a 99th.